pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, please be with us as we deliberate the business today. It comes before the county commissioners. Ask us, Lord, to use wisdom and courage as we act in ways, Lord, that hopefully are pleasing to you. And ask all these things, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Steve. All right. Have you guys had a chance to look at the minutes from July 11th?
Yes.
2020?
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Second.
Okay, motion carries. Tony.
Okay. First item, the Allied weekly health insurance claims. Those are in the amount of $44,836.37. Of that, medical is $11,954.05, pharmacy $33,504.34, and there were $622.02 in voids for a total of $44,836.37. Regarding this, as we have discussed, we are able to verify what State Board wanted us to verify. We can do that. But I have called Allied Michaelis to see if they can generate that with only names for you guys. Otherwise, it seems okay if we verify it. And sign off.
Were you guys aware of that discussion with State Board
Well,
of
Steve,
And I was.
the two of you are, Steve Coon's not.
Accounts? Okay, they wanted individualized claims because they felt that we were approving amounts that we couldn't verify that the people were
They wanted to make sure that it's our people that are,
eligible for benefits. So they wanted more information. So the problem with that was to follow HIPAA standards, you can't give too much information. So Tony is working it out with the insurance agency to be able to provide us with that
the State Board gave us two options. So the one option we definitely can do, because myself, Bree, and Shannon can verify that those are the names, although obviously I pushed back on this a little bit because of HIPAA, but it's not impossible that we can verify and not involve names. So anyway, wanted to bring it up for Steve's benefit so that he's aware.
So we're kind of walking a tightrope a little bit to make sure the claims are appropriate without getting into HIPAA. So anyway, I'd accept the motion to approve this claim as presented.
So when do we start that?
Technically, we can start any time, and Bree and I did look at that today and verified it started. So,
With this claim cycle.
Okay.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to pay these.
Second.
All right.
I have a question, Tony, before we move on. These come to us weekly. You also mentioned there's a monthly recap that comes.
And the monthly recap is not really a recap.
Okay, that's a
It's
different set of
administrative,
claims.
yes.
So I guess my question is, when we don't meet, like we didn't meet a week ago, how are these claims handled since they?
We
come
did
in
two
weekly?
of them the week after.
Okay, so we
We did 2 weeks of claims the week.
approve them at, how, are they paid every week? Are they paid every other week or?
If you remember, you all gave pre-authorization
Yes.
that those be paid, so they were paid.
Okay.
Then you just approved the amount on the 11th.
Okay.
Yep.
Good deal.
That being said, we've had the motion second, so we're good on that. I will go ahead and do the Allied monthly insurance claims. And as I said, that's administrative and so forth and so on. The amount on that is $70,836.34, $78,836.34. Kathy's not here today. But I asked her last week to move 200,000 into checking just to make sure we're covered because it was getting down to like 70,000 or something. So with that 200, even with this, we're fine shape. So, and if I need to know what the health insurance looks like after this meeting, I can ask Ed. Okay. So we're good.
All right, motion to approve.
Second.
Motion carries.
Okay, next I have accounts payable claims. And you should have all received those. The total amount on that is 486,314.11. 486,314.11. There's one biggie on there, it's almost 188,000 of that, the hospital. Then there's a few other ones, some ARPA things and so forth and so on.
And that one to the hospital was for,
It's our, it's a quarterly or biannually. It's one of those that they get a certain amount for EMS.
well, this one was for 187,927.
Yep.
Okay. Very good.
Yep.
All right, I accept a motion to approve the claims.
Move.
Second.
All right.
And next we have payroll claims. Payroll claims are in the amount of $362,680.07. 362,680.07.
Make motion, we pay payroll.
Second.
All right, motion carries.
Tony, have you thought any more about one of the other recommendations from State Board of Accounts then was for us to basically approve those, approve time cards or approve hours or approve compensation for those individuals who don't have an approving authority other than commissioners?
Shannon was in our office today, and Bree, myself, and Shannon, we were kind of discussing some of that and still trying to figure out what that needs to look like. So I think we're well on our way to figuring that out. I mean, Bree and Shannon were discussing back and forth. I think we may have, hopefully by the next payroll, we'll have something in place as to what they were asking, which, you know, basically we're talking about non-elected officials that are department heads. They wanted somebody to verify the department head's status or hours or whatever. And I think it was Stan that actually said, if there's a salaried position, health officer, for example, doesn't matter if they work 10 hours, 30 hours, what they're getting paid to do that service, to do that job. So we basically just need to have commissioners, and I think Bree's working on a list that she will send you the ones in question every payroll. Probably just the chairman would need to sign off on those to just say, we're approving this, because we can look at our end and verify, you know, certain things. But
You know,
these,
on-
they come to you
On
guys.
this
to your
document
point.
right here, I mean, we're seeing them all. They're not specifically called out to us.
Right.
to
They're on there.
be- But they are on this
Yeah.
report, and we're approving this
Yeah.
report. So I guess I could stretch that to the point where we've approved, pick anybody out of here that you want. You know, here's Brad Weber right here. I just approved his compensation.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
my
I mean,
signature, so. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, you were in the conversation.
I know.
so I'm not
I
sure.
know, I heard it. I heard it.
But like I said, Bree, Shannon, and myself, we're working on what would work for them and what works for you and what we can do and so forth to accommodate State Board of Accounts.
Well, they originally wanted everybody to punch a clock. It's like, there's no way Mike Ainsworth's gonna punch a clock, and Brad Weber, there's no way they're gonna punch a clock. So that's why I said we need to evaluate them on the work done and
Yeah.
the job.
And I think what they were saying is they need something to show
And accountability.
and accountability that they are actually not just a ghost employee, that they are fulfilling their job.
You know,
But it's all in there.
might be as simple as if there are 10 people, highlight those 10 and,
Yeah.
and when
Yeah.
we sign off, we sign that we're
Yeah,
verifying
that could be.
employment for those 10 highlighted individuals who we approve their payroll.
Yeah, that could very well work.
Just keep
Yeah.
it simple is all I know.
Yep, I agree. That might just be a way to go. Anyway, okay. Was that approved already?
I think it was.
The only thing left that I have is the monthly weights and measures report from Dan Hackman, the inspector. I handed those to you. Jim, I gave you a copy. I don't know if Hater Paper needs a copy. Need a copy of the weights and measures report? Okay. So that is his report from June 16th to July 15th. Looks like there were a total of 243 inspections.
Okay, I'd look for a motion to enter that into record.
Make a motion to enter the report from the weights and measures into the record.
Second.
All right. Thank you. Did you want to go over anything else as far as State Board of Accounts?
I think the only thing that maybe we can bring up with Mark here, and Clayton's here to also hear it, because the two of you were in on the conversation regarding suspension or debarment. Mark, what they said, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. If there is a company that the county is doing business with and it involves federal grant dollars, State Board is requiring that the company provide a form that shows they are not suspended or debarred from doing business. Some companies are already familiar with that. The highway department might have some of those that they already provide those. And I think what they said was when a contract is written up, the boilerplate contract should now include no suspension or debarment. So however that needs to look, they said there didn't need to be anything official. It just needed to be brought up to the county attorney to make sure that that's worded in the contracts, and they need to supply that.
Specifically grant money, was there an amount? Was it
25,000.
Okay.
There were 4 of those that they brought to my attention. And I was able to go on to sam.gov and find that they were not suspended or debarred, so we were fine. So I satisfied their requirement, but in future, they said you should have that in a form. If there's a company that does not have that form for whatever reason, I need to know the exact name of that company so that I can look on sam.gov to make sure that they are not a bad actor.
You're talking about professional services.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. One of them that we had to look up was Motorola with the sheriff's department. And there was, I think it was
American Elevator.
American Elevator was one, CBTS or BTS, one of those.
CBTS.
I think it was CBTS also. Everyone that we looked up on sam.gov were fine. They qualified, no problem.
apparently somewhere in the federal code, there's a requirement that we verify that just like
And only if it's federal
non-inclusion
grant
affidavit
dollars.
or whatever, that's some kind of a new, I don't know whether it's new or not.
It's on a checklist.
Yeah, it's on a checklist.
So anyway,
somewhere.
That's the one thing they brought up, and
Well, when you talk about suspension or debarment, then that presumes that that individual has some state licensing requirement.
Yeah.
Okay, so architects, should, engineers should, attorneys do.
It sounded like any vendor could appear on that list as being either suspended or debarred.
if they are doing a lot of business with entities, they should already know about that.
And we'll have to do some research on that. I'm just thinking from a state licensing standpoint, most contractors there is no licensing for them.
I can
So-
send to you what they wrote down, the
Yeah.
state board
In my
findings.
world, it feels like ending up on the OFAC list. You know,
Yeah.
from the banker's perspective, it sounded to me like a list, something like that, that says, these are all people that can't do business with the federal government because they've been
Right.
bad actors in the past.
And the federal auditor that was doing it even said, as we were looking that up on sam.gov, she says it's really not fair because all the counties didn't know about this until now, you know, because all the federal money went out and nobody really knew about it. So all the other counties that they're doing are having the same.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely take a look at it. It's, you know, it's one of those things where you can put language in any contract that you want that says at the time that nobody's suspended or debarred, and 6 months later, they could be suspended. Well, how are you gonna know?
Yeah.
I mean, the only way would be if there's some sort of registration with the state in some database, and then that would get updated, and then the county would be notified. I don't know how
Yeah, I don't know how current the sam.gov is, but
okay, but then how often does the county have to check it, you know? I mean, my guess is there's no notification,
Mark, we probably don't want to ask that question.
so it's
We
just,
probably don't want anybody to try to figure out what that answer is because it's going to be more work
Okay.
for us.
I mean, I can talk with the SBOA, but I assume, I would hope that the requirement is just that we have them warrant to us that they're not disbarred or suspended.
I think that's the
Yeah.
issue.
yeah, that's all it needs.
And maybe inside the boilerplate language is if
Yeah.
they become suspended or debarred,
There's
they
a-
would notify us
there's a-
immediately
They
or
have
something
duty to
like that.
notify us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There's
at that point, then I
contractual-
think we're done.
there's a contractual obligation to notify,
Right.
is what it is.
Yep.
But yeah, we can take a look at that.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Mark and Clayton were here so they can,
What was the thing where the rules changed July 1st?
as of
Prepayment of
Mark,
hours.
as of
That's right.
advanced payments.
Yeah.
They marked down for 2021 or 22, one of the years, that they had a problem with an advanced payment, for example, purchasing block hours of IT consulting ahead of time before it was used. However, it was stated at the meeting that this year, July 1st, there was a new law passed that does allow for some advanced payments. And they actually said, I think somebody asked, well, what do we need to do? And the answer was, talk to your attorney. Because there's a new law that they passed that started July 1st of this year regarding advanced payments and what is and is not allowed for advanced payments. So
Did they reference that statute?
I don't think they did, no.
All right, well, we need to look at that.
They just said that next year, they probably wouldn't have made mention of it if this was next year for this year because the law changed.
I think they made reference to that's what paralegals are for.
Yeah. All right.
But
well-
anyway, yeah, that's the one thing they said to bring up to the attorney.
Well, so we need to look at advance payment and
Yeah.
contractual,
Suspension or
vendor
defer.
contractual provisions.
I think,
Well, and I think that was the biggest user of that was IT. But of course, we've had a couple other situations where we made advance payments, down payments on projects also.
Yeah.
so.
one of them was the elevator because they had to have half the money.
Mhm.
Although we got them to put down some of the parts and so forth that they were using that for, so that passed.
Hmm.
In other words, we didn't just say, here's half, and we didn't have anything to go with it. We had the elevator company and Rick write down some things that passed SBOA enough to do that work, so, yeah.
But otherwise, I would like to commend all of our departments for a good audit and that includes Shannon and HR working closely with them. That includes Tony's office, himself and his office working closely with State Board of Accounts. That includes Ed and his office working closely with State Board of Accounts. So all of our departments really came out with a very shining report, I felt. I mean, there was just some few minor items for discussion, but
There were no official write-ups or anything of that
Right.
nature, so.
so yeah, I think all of our departments are to be commended for a good audit, a very good audit, so. All right, anything else, Tony?
That's all I have.
Okay, Brad, did you have anything for us?
Bravo.
It's not too bad today.
I see you brought your engineer with you.
Yeah. It's not too bad. Thing I want to start off with today is this is just, I know we can get this kind of more out in the media and stress it as road safety. You know, and that goes for anybody that's driving on any of the roads, highway, state, or the state roads, the back county roads. It happens to us too. We actually had, one of the reasons I'm stressing this is we had a couple of our guys in a truck and somebody ran a stop sign and our guys were watching and they said it missed them by inches. So I'm stressing this now because of the crops. Corn's getting tall and it's getting harder to see at the intersections. And we are made aware, you know, people usually let us know when there's wrecks at certain places. And so we'll go out and look at those intersections and that, and also do some background work. And the sheriff's been great to work with, and a lot of the wrecks are avoidable, you know?
Yeah.
People are running stop signs, people pull up, blind spot, whatever, that kind of stuff happens. And I don't want to see anybody get hurt on any of our roads. I don't want to see anybody get hurt anywhere. And I know how to stress driver awareness. You know, how do you stress that? And, but I just wanted to come in and just make everybody aware. Look, there's a lot going on out there. Just drive, pay attention, you know, pay attention to where you're at, what's going on. So there you go. There's my safety spiel for today.
Well, I appreciate that, cause like that one email that I passed on to you and the sheriff, you know, reference a two-way stop out east of town, you know, where there was accidents, so. You know, it's not that hard to stop. It doesn't take you that much time to stop and look, so.
And I'll admit, I'm not gonna say who, where, or what, but that one there, they actually did stop and then proceeded.
Okay.
So yeah, that can, you know, that's another thing too, the certain places we need to look at some signage maybe, and we'll put up more signage. But, you know, as far as a lot of people would like to see four-way stops all over, and that's really impedes the flow of traffic a lot of the time if it's not warranted. So anyhow, kind of my safety spiel.
Yeah, thank you.
How about the Amish, especially on one situation I'm thinking about is between Berg and the covered bridge on that back road. There for the old long place, you come up the hill and you don't see anything on the other side of that hill. And if you're going very fast, you go over the top of the hill and there might be an Amish buggy right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there again, driver awareness of your surroundings. Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
So,
All right, so my first item of business today is last week I had handed out our petitions for road conversions. And, you know, give you guys some time to look at them. And so basically now I'm here to get your guidance on which ones we want to do, which ones you'd like to see done first, do them all, you know, what you would like to see done. Now, I will just give this out also. As part of the new process, it's now more involved. So once these are approved to go ahead with, since we're getting wider right-of-ways, it's going to need to be staked by a surveyor. And once the surveyor does his work, then it'll go to Mark's office to get the right-of-ways, you know, figured out and the paperwork done. And then we're also going to have utilities moved now, you know, that are in the right-of-way that we need moved back. It may not all need moved back, but if they do, we're going to have them moved back. And then we can actually start our side of it, removing, if we got to remove trees, you know, or anything that's in the way, we're going to go in and cut the side ditches. We trench along the sides of the roads, you know, we go deeper, put stone in, that way we can widen the road and it's firm. And then we'll come in, put the new pipes across, you know, all the pipe crossings that need replaced or improved. And then we can finally get down to the hauling of stone on them. And, you know, as a rough guideline, through the years, basically they put down 2,500 ton of number 53s per mile. and 2,500 ton of number 73s. So you're building the roads up quite a bit. But I just am also saying this, just the people realize, even though the petition is done, you guys approve it, it's still going to be a lengthy process to do it correctly. And I'm really happy with the way it is now. I think this is doing it correct. And we can make better roads. So anyhow, the ones that have been presented are 400 south and all the way from 500 west to 700 west. And then 400 west from State Road 124 down to 200 south. So I guess at this time I'm asking your guys' guidance. You got one you feel needs done worse
Well,
than another?
in the past, we've talked about a road schedule. Do either of these roads fall within roads that you had previously talked about doing?
Yes.
Both of them, or just one?
The one more than the other. 400 west was one that, it's a 2-mile stretch to go from 124 down to another chip and seal road. And this road is notorious for potholes. Our guys, they go out and grade, and the potholes always come back. So this spring, we went out with the road grader, tore it up. I mean, we tore it up, packed her in, and we're hoping to see if it seems to have helped so far. They're not getting as big as fast.
You got 4 miles that you brought in front of us.
Yep.
And you can do that many miles,
Yes.
no problem.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we do all 4
And,
miles.
and these are the only ones that are, there's no carryover list of approved or anything? or-
No, this is a brand new process, and all, Paul and I had talked through the years, and we never started on any roads. We wanted to finish the other road first. So no, this is new. These are the ones that were done correctly. All the petitions were filled out, everything's signed, they agree to give right away.
Second Steve's motion.
Okay, motion and second to approve both projects. And so with the timeline on that, I don't know that there's any reason to set a timeline on when these projects will be completed, but
Oh, so no, and as part of the new process also, basically, we quit taking ones for this round, in June. So we can get them to you guys, we can look at them, get them to you guys, and you can decide. So now people can start filling out the petitions again, knowing that it won't be, shown to you guys till next June.
My guess is that you'll get more petitions once they see the process and see the process working,
Exactly.
they'll use the process.
Yes.
well,
Yeah.
and I think it's an excellent process
Me too.
because it
Yeah.
encourages full cooperation of all the landowners on that road.
Yep.
And that's, as we have seen with another project that's been in process, that can be a big holdup,
Yeah.
is to not have that cooperation. So
Yep.
I just think it sounds
Yeah.
like a good way to go about improving roads
Yep.
with the
I agree.
cooperation of property owners, yeah.
Brad, can I get a copy of that as well?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I know.
actually, I got one right here. for you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so you guys motioned and everything?
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, the only other thing I have is fuel systems up and running and we're using it.
Yay.
Monday was our first fully go live day.
Is there any additional cost to that?
Yeah, there's gonna be, one more change order yet that I need to get presented. Should have brought that along. Now, I want to reiterate, and I've kind of talked to Mark a little bit too. You guys have given me permission to sign the change orders, correct? I just want to make sure we're still good on that because there's going to be one more. And if it's all right with you guys, as soon as I get back to the office and see, they were finalizing some final figures from the vendor's end of it. And so I would like to see that number before, and if it's all right with you guys, I can email it to you.
Was there anything, if I recall, everything was kind of subject to what they found when they dug out the old tanks and tested the soil and so on and so
There
forth?
was one thing, and it was the water.
Okay.
There again, you're correct. They don't know until they get the semen out and
Right.
start digging. And there was 11,000 gallons of water. Now, if I can hopefully say this right, it's not considered contaminated, but it's been exposed to petroleum products. So they can't just pump it out on the ground, but it also doesn't have to go to it goes to a special landfill, but it's not like hazardous at that point. it's been exposed.
So was it like inside of a secondary bladder or something, or where was the water at?
No, thankfully, we have good clay there. And so when they dug the original hole to put the tanks in and filled it with pea gravel, that clay contained it.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Good.
yes,
Very good.
and if you guys are all right with that, I'll email that to you once I get that final figure.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, no,
Thank
I'm
you.
just so tickled we're up and running. Trust me.
Good.
What a long process. Yeah.
Well, you've done a lot of research on what's the best way to go here, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this quick too, Jay County's basically putting in almost the same system we are. So it's kind of been a blessing, I think, a help for them, because we can give them some helpful guideline or guidance.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm ecstatic it's up and running. So,
Very good. All
all
right,
right, that's all I got.
thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
What do you think of Grandma Black?
Rick, how's it going?
Okay.
You kind of hesitated before you answered.
Well, lots going on maybe. Boiler inspection last Thursday. Both buildings passed. It's a good thing we did what we did as far as getting that work done on it. We'll have a couple of invoices at some time when they bill us. That's coming from BTS for getting those up to snuff and up to code. So that was good. I gotta get online and apply for our permits. I have a request. This is, the clerk's office. Down where their, voting stuff is, their election room down there. Going out of the entrance, there's a lot of paint that's flaking off, and Shelley would like to have that all cleaned up. She wants to be able to take her machines out that way, so she got a quote, and this is from S&C Construction, scraping all that paint off, and it's kind of like river rock down in some of that areas. And then getting some of the old stuff off, and then just like kind of spraying it with rubber coating spray to help seal it. And that quote is for $845. I guess I'm just asking permission to go ahead and do this.
Where's she want to take that money from? Or is that, do you have that in your
I will
budget?
take it out of 1138. So, and that will be out of Circuit Court. So it'd be Fund 1138 that I'd like to take it from. And that would be the courthouse 34007.
Well, it certainly sounds appropriate.
And was that just to scrape the paint or was it?
It's to scrape the paint and spray rubber coating where needed, where it's leaking. And also, it is for putting a lock on the door down there that goes out into that entrance. It's locked on the outside, but as you come down the stairs, there's a door that's never had a lock on it. It's kind of a steel door. That's included in that quote too.
Doesn't that door have a glass in it?
There's a glass, when you go through that door, it's probably been there since the building. There's a little sketch glass that's up there. But if that door has a lock on it, there's no way and anybody can get into there.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if that's a security issue.
Yeah, it's not,
Okay.
with that lock being on that door.
Gotcha, okay. All right.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, did you get the Fund 1138, and what did you say?
34007?
Yes.
Is that
There
correct?
we go,
Yep.
yep, okay.
This is kind of a hindsight thing here. This already went on. Over in Superior Court,
Judge wanted some sound barrier panels put up where the attorneys go in and do some counseling and things because the noise was bleeding through. They purchased these panels, I believe from Amazon. And kind of, when it came time to have them installed, they kind of fell short in a little funding. So they approached me about if I could add any money to help them out with
Because
this.
they had a grant to pay for
They
that.
got a grant to pay
But the grant was short of,
for fulfilling this job, yeah.
oh, right.
This is what the quote was for. Actually, it's the bill. I'm speaking. That's for $1,700.
Okay,
I put the fund that I'd like to pay it from, the account number right on that paper that you have.
34008.
Yes, 1138.
Well, it looks like we haven't used too much out of that fund yet, so.
Well, yeah, we have it.
Superior Court repairs and maintenance.
Motion approved.
Second.
All right. Or we could just ask Brad Weber not to talk so loud.
As a lot of requests for this, kind of been putting it on the back burner a little bit, just because of State Board of Accounts for the auditor's office, and it's about shredding. Now that they're gone, I think Tony feels pretty good about coming up with what he can get rid of. And Shelley's kind of spearheaded, she's kind of really wanting this. I have a box number between the two buildings, actually the three, about 300 boxes. Which they go by the pound. Commissioners have never authorized me, made me do this. I've always kind of did it out of common courtesy to help get rid of stuff. So I guess I'm asking if I can go ahead and supply this option to the offices of shredding the paper.
Man, the more we can shred, the better. And if Shelley's gonna approve it,
So we'll have several boxes out of this office. We're kind of looking at a date. It just depends on the company. Second week of August sometime, and I'll try to get that date out there. So anybody in this building here would bring their boxes in here, and it would be under lock and key until they're disposed of. And since they have so many boxes over at the courthouse, the truck is gonna have to move and go over there and do the same thing. Always before, it's kind of been here. We've not done this since 2021, COVID, things. And the last time we did it, we didn't have a lot of boxes.
man, 300 boxes, that'll take them a while.
Take a while, yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes by the pound, so I don't know the cost.
So is that something we have to bid out, or do you just get the same company you had
I've
before?
always used the same company in the last 3-4 years that we've done it.
I mean, I don't know.
That company is,
I don't know that we have to bid it out, but
it's confidential shredding. The bill, like I said, I don't know. It's usually been around $200 to $2,500 is what it's been.
yeah.
I'm surprised we don't have a service that just comes by once a month and shreds for us or something like that.
I just talked to Shelley before the meeting, and she goes, maybe we can talk about that. A
That's
lot
what
of
I'm
times
used to.
they just can't get rid of their stuff until, well, like Tony, after the state. I've always tried to do it around June. It's when we've done it, June or July, I should say July.
Ed, did you want to speak to that?
Well, the problem with that on a monthly basis is that the State Board of Accounts requires us to have a record of retention for certain documents, so many years, and depending on the documents, there's different schedules. We're not allowed to get rid of it until that goes through. In fact, with the State Board of Accounts, even though they are done with the audit, we don't have the final paperwork yet back from there where they signed off on it, I don't believe. And so we would have to wait until we get that, which should be in the next couple of weeks. So everything should be fine, but I would not be allowed to, even though I have stuff already upstairs in my storage room, I have it staged and ready to go. I cannot get rid of it until that's completely signed off by State Board of Accounts. And I think every office is probably in that situation.
Would it,
in
would
one
it
aspect.
make more sense if, like, say we did it twice a year or once a year? Would that make more sense?
I think it's, the clerk to me is the only one asking for more offers. I think our departments here are fine with once a year.
To be honest, I guess I'm kind of speaking for her. They've kind of fell behind the process. So they have some stuff that they need to, she needs a little more attention getting shredded the way I took it. Not a lot of that was going on prior.
Maybe if it's just regularly scheduled once a year and and everybody knows that.
Yeah, like I said, they do usually know it's June or July. We just, State Board of Accounts, we held it off.
The fact that we waited
Makes sense.
enabled us to get rid of a lot more boxes because that adds more years to the retention time.
Sure. Good. That sounds like you guys have a good plan.
So I guess I'm just asking, is it okay to go ahead and do that?
Yeah, it sure sounds like it makes sense. Yep, so I guess we'll just stay with once a year and do it that way. I mean, the 300 boxes is kind of an unusual situation. Yeah.
Room 125, just need to get the locks on it yet. They haven't showed up. But there is a meeting scheduled in there for next Tuesday at 8 a.m. I believe the health department wanted to use it, so they're going to use it next Tuesday. I don't think they need any locks on there to use it. So that's the status.
So we'll still schedule that through the auditor's office like we have.
I think that's the best process, at least for the time being. Whatever you guys want to do.
I mean, are you guys okay with?
Yeah, I mean, it's been doing it for as long as I know anyway.
Yeah.
There's a way to do that through Outlook automatically,
Yeah.
or to add that room to your meeting request and have that approved or denied by the Outlook software. But I don't know at that point, then you don't get to prioritize. It's first come, first served. If I've got the room, you can't have it type thing. So if you want to be able to prioritize, that won't work. But
We have a spreadsheet up there that when somebody asks for a room,
Outlook would allow you to do that, and you guys wouldn't have to intervene.
And keep in mind in that room, there's also going to be an office located in there for a new employee to be hired, and they'll be kind of stationed the way I understand it.
Well, so that's gonna become more important when we hire that training person, because that training person is probably gonna have priority for that room, because that's what the
Maybe they
intent
go through
is.
that person. I don't know, gentlemen.
Yeah, that might work.
or at least for that room.
Yeah, at least for them.
Yeah,
I think the way it works now is good. It just goes through the auditor's office for the time being. The only problem with that room was, I think the discrepancy on that room, Tony, was that key is different than the rest of the building. And I got with the health department. I'll take care of that.
that'll still have an electronic
Yep.
lock though, right?
Yep.
So,
That's all I have for now.
all right. What did you end up, and you probably said this and I just don't remember, working out with like, BZA and Plan Commission as far as late meetings and them getting in here and stuff?
Well, I think we just kind of resorted back to kind of the way it was, that the door was going to be at this time to this time. be open at this time and locked at this time.
Okay,
We're leaving it open, nobody's manning that door, as far as I know.
yeah,
You can just kind of resort to that, how it always was.
all right,
That's what you still want to do.
I think so.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Rick. Ed, did you have anything for us?
Morning, gentlemen. I do have a couple of things. Should be pretty quick here. I had emailed all of you. I have a request for proposals out to our 4 banks that we deal with for them, to give them the ability to bid on our main operating accounts. We do this by state statutes every 2 years, and it's time to do that. So I have that procedure in movement right now. We will be opening the bids at one of the regular meetings on Tuesday, August 22nd. There'll be 4 bids. We just open them up, say, yep, here they are. And then, as we did 2 years ago, you guys would give us the authorization to go over them in detail and kind of compare them against each other, and then we'd vote on those. You would vote on those the following week, which would be Tuesday, August the 29th. Now, that meeting is actually a financial planning committee meeting, of which you are the 3 voting members, as well as me as secretary for that committee. That would be at a special meeting at 9 o'clock that day, prior to your commissioner meeting. I have it scheduled for this room, but the council is also going to be working on their budget as well. And if that interferes, we may have to move downstairs to 125. As we did 2 years ago, there was, we had 5 visitors as well as the committee people. So that room would be plenty big enough.
So on August 29th, they're gonna be in here? Council's gonna be in here?
If you remember,
29.
council changed up the way they're doing it. And they wanted to meet on Monday, the 28th, and Tuesday, the 29th, knowing that there would be a commissioners meeting. They might work up until the commissioners meeting and then break for lunch and come back. That'll be up to them.
So where did you say you wanna have this meeting?
I'd like to have it here. I'd like them to be done on Tuesday.
They're not gonna be done.
But if they're not going to be done, then we may have to move down to 125 downstairs.
Can we go ahead and just schedule it for 125?
I already have the letters out, but yes, I could even catch them as they come in the door. It's not that big of a deal. Like I said, last year, we had 4 from one bank and 1 from another one. So we was able to do it pretty easy. If worse comes to worse, I can have it in my office. There's enough room in there to do it. But and they're both dates that you gentlemen have meetings anyway, so Tuesday, August 22nd and Tuesday, August 29th.
But the one on the 22nd will be during our regular.
Yes, yes. That's just open up the bids.
Okay.
And the one on the 29th is not during our normal meeting
No,
hours.
that has to be by state statute. That has to be a separate financial planning committee.
At 9 in the morning. Okay,
Yes.
good deal. Okay.
And it don't take long. It really don't. You have doubts?
No, I won't be here if if my calendar doesn't tell me to come and all, so.
So, next thing, our annual tax sale, we are going over the verification of the final list. We're doing that a week from this Friday, July 28th. We have Jason Puckett from SRI will be in-house. We go over in detail. There's 31 properties as of this morning that are still on that list. And we go over the names, the addresses, the parcel numbers, just to make sure that they are in accordance with what we have and the auditor's office. Everybody sits down together. We were very detailed about that. By the time the tax sale actually gets here, which is October 31st, I envision that we'll be down to 10 or 12 And that's just generally how it works. So everything's going there. There is a situation with the gentleman that has this group. Grant County was hit with them. They tried to disrupt this process of tax sale, and they made a real mess out of the Grant County situation. And I'm trying to be proactive with our vendor SRI and our sheriff to perhaps get some sheriff deputies in here on that day. And we are making the situation, you have to show state ID, picture ID, and this group don't like that, say they don't need to have one, and da-da-da-da-da. So I've been working with the sheriff on it. It's only in certain counties, and I don't think we're going to be an issue because ours is so small, but I just want to be proactive about it. It may get to the point where I would request some sort of an ordinance be drawn up to where we have an actual policy that the county subscribes to. SRI has a policy that they are doing. And I think we could probably mirror their policy or at least use that as a template to create our own. But it's important enough that I want to make sure that we stay ahead of it. So I'm working with that, and on July 28th, I'll be talking with the representative from SRI and getting more details and seeing where we go. But another thing I'm working on. Taxes collected, we're at 98.83%. Our goal is always 97%, so we're well past that. And interest rates are continuing upward. I got 2 banks in the last 2 weeks to raise their interest just a touch, and our short-term CDs are doing well. I got a couple of those coming through here before long. We'll see where we go.
Are you using primarily 6 month or 1 year or
6 months.
6 months?
6 months has the highest rate, and they'll be highest rate again. It's kind of funny because it's a downward, backwards curve. Normally they'd want you to sock it away for longer, but everything's kind of so mixed up right now that everybody's good on the short term, not quite so good on the long term. And of course, we bid those CDs out to all of our in-county banks that we work with. And so everybody keeps everybody sharp,
Very
So
good.
that's good. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
All right, Mark?
Got time after the meeting, Ed?
Yes.
Nothing.
Two, no big papers?
No big papers.
No big
today.
papers today.
All right.
Sure, that's the last.
Just a standard monthly report. You can see that we're still, last 2 months, we had a few less than we gave a year ago at the same time, but only 2 last month. And they're still up 46 for the year as far as permits go. We've been upwards of doing, on Friday I did 16 inspections. I never saw the office once. Finished at 5 o'clock.
Wow.
So, they're all over, from the north end to the south end. Been a busy year.
Make a motion to accept Mark's report into the record.
Second.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
It's always good to see.
Single family residence, same thing almost is.
Okay, Mark, do you have anything for us?
I don't think we've got anything official other than, we did have some on the invoices for those for that RMC fence, the nets, and for that pavilion. Did Jeremy turn those in?
He has not turned them in yet, but Bree, myself, and Jeremy all went over everything. Looked back at the minutes for the commissioners meeting on May 9th. All of that was approved by the commissioners. It had already previously been approved by the council. I think it was $93,700. And with everything that Jeremy has that he's going to send in, it is around 92,000 and something. So all he has to do is submit those invoices and we will pay those under that ARPA
Yep.
approval. So we're good on that.
Okay, I was checking because it looks like that's where we were. And so he just needs to get us invoices.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, good.
Because he already had gone out and gotten the quotes
Yeah.
for the procurement policy and that was approved by commissioners May 9th.
Yep.
So we're good.
Okay, good. Yeah, we had multiple quotes on that, so yeah, we've got everything. And I've got a folder for it too, so if there's anything that you need, I think I've got it all, so.
Yeah, we included the painting in that as well, which was part of the original request and totaling that, it's under the 93.7 that was originally approved, so we're fine.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
We already appropriated it.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, he just needs to get us the invoices.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I think that's it. I gotta,
One of the things that we had mentioned last time was an appointment to the Community Corrections Board for Danielle Reed. And so I don't know if that takes a resolution to,
no, is it, Community Corrections Board? How many board members are there?
I don't know, there's a bunch. But I know the board voted to appoint her to that, to
Is
the
that
CMHC board.
And is that a commissioner's appointment? Who's telling us that it's a commissioner's appointment? Yes.
I don't know.
Well, it is, I think by state legislature, they allowed the commissioners to have an appointment to that board since it's a state designated
Okay.
board. So I think it does fall back to us to appoint that person. Even though Community Corrections makes a recommendation to us, it's still up to us.
Up to you to make the appointment.
I don't know if that requires an appointment form or if they could just appoint it or.
We can do one.
So,
We can do one.
because I'll probably talk to Chuck Clark here in the next week or so and tell him who we want to put on there, so.
If you want to, if you want to approve her appointment in the record today to the board, and then, then I can get you the actual
Need the
appointment
paperwork.
form to sign.
And she'll have to come in and sign
She'll
up in
sign,
our
and
office.
she can come in and sign, but I think the best practice would be to actually do a written appointment.
Oh, if we want to approve, do you know Danielle, she's with Child Protective Services? And it was,
That's the recommendation.
it was unanimous at the Community Corrections Board.
That's all I see
So,
here.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
and then I'll double check with Ian and make sure that she is, because she accepted it that day at the meeting, but I'll make sure that she has it backed out.
Good deal.
But if
Very
you're okay with that. Okay,
I'll let Brooke know.
okay.
Yeah, but it is the Adams County Community Corrections Board?
Yeah.
That's what it is, okay.
Well,
No.
it's not an appointment to that board.
Oh, it's to the CMHC?
Correct. So,
Is that a,
apparently from the legislature, the commissioners are allowed to make, an appointment to that board, which could be a commissioner, but, goes-
okay, so I'll need to look at that. So that's the Community Mental Health, what?
Community Mental Health.
Commission? Community Mental
Commission.
Health.
Probably Commission, yeah.
I forget.
I think it's commission.
Yeah, I think Jeremy's on that, so.
Yeah, I'll, okay, well, we'll figure that out, so. We'll get the wording correct, but I'll send an email to Brooke here.
But I kind of thought it best too, if it was not a commissioner that was on that appointment. So,
No, she'd be very good.
but also along those same lines, when I asked all the, and I probably told you guys this, but when I asked them all how the CMHC, Park Center was doing, as our regional provider, everybody has seen improvement.
Good.
So that was good to hear.
Yeah.
So I don't need, at this point, I don't think we need to proceed with a complaint.
Right.
uh,
Good.
Against that, as long as we continue to see, and everybody's just real heightened alert as far as evaluating what we're getting, so.
So we're back to utilizing those services
I
again
mean,
more
we
completely.
had to hold their feet to the fire a little bit, but
And I think for a while, we kind of were going other directions and going other places to get services. So we're moving back toward utilizing that park center and
yeah, because they brought more people down, they've definitely improved, so. All right. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. All right, anything else from you guys, reports from committees or anything, or?
let's check with Shannon.
The only other thing I had is, you're probably wishing I'd shut up at some point, but, we're still looking forward to a recommendation from the health department on whether to opt into the governor's health initiative. And so we have a health department meeting here coming up. I don't know if it's next week, but I'll ask them again and we'll look for a recommendation on how to proceed with
That is
that.
to be like by September 1st or something.
Yeah.
It feels like coming sooner than later.
So, but they've already had to turn their budget in for the health department. So if we opt in, that's gonna drastically affect their budget.
Sure.
There's not much you can do about it. We can only, we're doing the budget workshop today. They could not submit their budget based on what might happen. They had to submit it on what they have now, so.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think you're gonna be at that,
Hoping to, yeah.
choose 3 or something.
Yeah.
Because there can't be a quorum of either body.
Okay, very good. All right, nothing else from you guys? Anything else from the general public?
I think Shannon had anything else.
Shannon, do you have anything? Clayton, do you have anything? Okay.
Dan Watson, do you have anything?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Wow.